This is the Mighty Oba, Sports Director for 1080 AM WFO Radio, here to say that we are still looking for a head coach for the Buffalo Bills here in Western New York at the time that this video was made. Who are our top 3 candidates? Well, this is the Mighty Oba's top 3 candidates. 1, Mike Martz. I think Mike Martz is an excellent football coach with a winning record. I think he has a history with Perry Fewell, and he would bring back Perry Fewell as defense coordinator. I think he would be number 1 on my list. Number 2 would be Brian Billick. Brian Billick is a winner of a Super Bowl. One fault I have with Brian Billick, he has failed miserably during his time with the Baltimore Ravens to produce an adequate offense. Though he won a Super Bowl, it was a Super Bowl dominated by a very dominant defense, one of the best defenses in the history of the NFL, led by Ray Lewis. But Brian Billick, during his tenure in Baltimore, though it was long, though he was a winner, he never had a successful offense. And coming from a person that is supposed to be a guru of the offensive side of the ball, I think that is a big strike against Brian Billick. He never developed a quarterback. He missed on every quarterback they brought in to the Baltimore Ravens. They won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer as their starter. And then they didn't even bring him back the next year. That's how bad he was. But anybody could have won that Super Bowl on offense when you had such a dominating defense that created plays every time it touched the field. So you must look at this as being one of the shortcomings of Brian Billick. Even though he's a winner, even though he's probably capable of putting together a very good staff, and maybe if he combines with the talents of a Buddy Nix, he might be able to solve his problem that he had on offense. Now, if you look on offense when he was a coordinator with the Minnesota Vikings, he had one of the most dominating offenses in the history of the NFL with Randall Cunningham as the quarterback. And if you remember that team, they set an all-time scoring record for the NFL prior to the New England Patriots. So yes, he has had some experience with successful offenses. He was an offensive coordinator, but he did not have that success in Baltimore. He had very good defenses. Matter of fact, 6 of his assistant coaches became head coaches, but they were all on the defensive side of the ball. None of his offensive coaches got any jobs because the offense in Baltimore never matriculated to being a very good offense. Now, third choice, number 3 is Perry Fewell. I think Perry Fewell will be an excellent head coach. I think the demand of Buddy Nix by bringing Perry Fewell in as the head coach would be that he would hire a very experienced offensive staff. 1, I would make Chris Palmer my offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach for the New York Giants. I would immediately name him as my offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. I would bring back George Cotavalos as my defensive back coach. I would also bring in an experienced special teams coordinator, seeing that Bobby April is gone. That would be the first things that Buddy Nix could do if he hires Perry Fewell as the head coach. And I'm quite sure if Perry Fewell, during his interview, he probably stressed the fact that he would bring in those type of experienced personnel if he really wanted the job. And everybody said he had a very good interview. So let's hope. I like Perry Fewell. He's my number 3 choice. The first 2 choices are Mike Martz, Brian Billick. Number 3 is Perry Fewell. Number 4 would be Leslie Frazier. And the same thing would go for him to bring in an experienced staff to try to get this team, which doesn't have to be totally broken up, over the hump and ready for the playoffs next year. Hey, this is the Mighty Oba, Sports Director for 1080 AM WFO Radio here on CLB TV. We'll see you next week with my sports update as we keep looking for who's going to be the next head coach for the Buffalo Bills. We'll see you next week.